Hey there, English learners. Thanks for tuning in today. I've got some phrasal verbs today that might help you out if you have an English-speaking job or you're going to have to deal with things like pension plans and health insurance and things like that. These conversations and this paperwork can be pretty complicated, so I hope to give you a few phrasal verbs that might actually help with this sort of thing. But don't worry, it also occurred to me to throw in a few other phrasal verbs starting with the letter O that have nothing to do with this but are just good phrasal verbs to know. So thanks for joining today. Hi, I'm Phil from Mayak. I teach English here in the Czech Republic, and I'm glad you've joined me. Let's begin. Occur to. Occur to. So we might know the word occur, but the phrasal verb is occur to, and it means a thought or an idea that came to mind. A thought or idea that came to your mind. And we can use this in a couple different ways. It didn't occur to him that he might be wrong. It didn't occur to him that he might be wrong. Like the idea never came to him that he would be wrong. It didn't occur to him. Or it didn't occur to her to ask for help. It didn't occur to her to ask for help. It occurred to him in a dream. It occurred to him in a dream. That means he got some idea or some thought in a dream, and it, boom, occurred to him in a dream. Or simply, the answer suddenly occurred to me. Maybe he was sitting, doing a test, and the answer suddenly occurred to him. And you see with each of these, we have an object. It occurred to him. It occurred to me. It occurred to her. The next one is open up. To make something possible, available, or like able to be reached somehow, to open up. So the railway opened up the east of the country. Maybe the east was not so accessible. And then with this railway, the east of the country was suddenly opened up. Maybe more common, exciting new possibilities opened up to her in her new job. Exciting new possibilities opened up to her in her new job. This means she got a new job, and now suddenly there were new possibilities that were available to her that weren't before. And the website will open up new things for our business, new possibilities, new clients, lots of new things. Because of this website, it opens it up. Operate on, to perform surgery. If somebody operates on someone, they perform surgery. This one is very specifically about surgery in a hospital, but we speak about it plenty of times when a friend goes in for an operation. So she was operated on for 6 hours, or we can say the doctor operated on her for 6 hours. So she was operated on for 6 hours, or the doctor operated on her for 6 hours. Operate on. Next, opt in. Opt in. To choose to do something or to be involved in something. To choose to do something or be involved in something. And this is the one where we'll start to talk about things that might come up in a new job situation in English when you're choosing health insurance plans or other sort of paperwork, things like this. So the company offered a new, maybe better, insurance plan so that more of the workers would opt in. The company offered a new insurance plan so that more of the workers would opt in. They would choose it. They would want this thing. And it's often used with this work situation in the United States, especially. You can choose insurance often from your job. Your job will maybe offer some possibilities, and you can opt in to these insurance, and they want that. So you can opt in if you choose that insurance. Then we have opt out, which is kind of the opposite. It's to choose not to be involved in something, to make that choice. Opt out. So employees may choose to opt out of the company's pension plan. Employees may choose to opt out of the company's pension plan. And this would happen because maybe they have some other possibility for pension, they're saving their money somewhere else, and they say, no thank you, I don't want to go in with your pension plan. I will opt out of it. I'm going to choose not to be involved in that. And why not have one more opt, right? Opt for. Opt for. And this is to choose one possibility and not choose all the other possibilities, is to make that specific choice. And I know it sounds a lot like opt in or maybe opt out, but this is a specific one that's opt for something, to choose this one thing, but not these other things. Opt for. So the man opted for early retirement because he didn't want to work until he was 65 years old. The man opted for early retirement because he didn't want to work until he was 65 years old. So he there weren't one or two choices. I guess there were plenty of choices, but he opted for this idea that I will retire early at this age and not work until I'm 65. That's the choice I want to make. Hopefully you've already noticed, but we have opt in, opt out, and opt for. Opt, I see it the beginning of another word that I know in English, option, right? And this is a choice that you have. So we know that these words are related, opt and option. So if you remember the word option, you can remember these verbs, opt in, opt for, and opt out, and kind of remember their meaning. And when they come up in these environments, maybe you'll be able to use them a little bit more. Okay, opposed to. Opposed to. Opposed to means simply to disagree with a plan or a principle of something. To disagree with a plan or a principle. So we can say, she's opposed to many of these changes in legislation. She's opposed to many of these changes in legislation. It sounds kind of like she works for the government and she's on the opposing side, and she's definitely opposed to the new ideas, the new legislation. She's always opposed to everything her colleague says. So this is maybe sounds like more than just a little disagreement, but every time the colleague says something, this person says, nope, I disagree, I disagree, I disagree. Sounds like they have some maybe deeper bitterness going on there. But if somebody is always opposed to what the other person says, they're always going against each other. They're always disagreeing. I'm going to change this a little bit. Instead of just opposed to, I want to add a word before it, as opposed to something else. Let me give a couple of examples in a sentence here. They always use fresh fish as opposed to fish that has been frozen. They always use fresh fish as opposed to fish that has been frozen. It's really hard to say fresh fish, fresh fish, fresh fish, isn't it? But you see this as opposed to something else. So there's this idea, and then there's this idea, and these two ideas are opposite, contradictory in a way. So they always use fresh fish as opposed to fish that has been frozen. Or maybe in sports, I'd say he is a good player as opposed to a great player. I say he is a good player as opposed to a great player. So he's good, but if we say as opposed to, we want to look at other possibilities. There's good players and there are great players. He is a good player, not a great player. I'm making this difference here, as opposed to. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. I know you could watch lots of other things. There are a lot of people talking about different ways to learn English on the internet, on YouTube, and you stopped here today. So thanks a lot. I hope this brought you some hope and help on your English learning journey, and I'll catch you next time.